My name is Nick Best and I'm Managing Director here at Astranti, and I've recorded for you around about 10 hours worth of videos focused on guiding you to pass the operational case study exam. And this is just one sample. This sample focuses on what it takes to plan your answer. I've got 8 separate stages of planning your answer, and this gives you full guidance on the first of those and sets you off onto the second of those. So as if nothing else, this will give you some support and guidance to focus around what you do to start your planning process off. So I'll leave you to the sample. So in the previous video we looked at why you need to plan, and in this video I want to show you how to plan. There are 8 stages of exam planning, and I'm going to talk you through those stages step by step. If you want to create an excellent plan, you need to work through these stages one by one by one. You need to work them through quite quickly because you don't want to spend too much time planning, but it is a very step-by-step structured approach which you will need to practice well in order to make sure you're on top of all of these stages. So let's get started then. Let's work our way through these 8 stages of exam planning and go straight into the first step in these steps, which is to read the unseen information and identify the requirements. Of course, we've seen in the previous videos how important it is to get the right requirements, and so obviously the first step is to get that right. We need to understand what we're being asked to do, and we're going to create our structure around that. So we need to find the section of the pre-seen information that focuses on the requirements. It's normally an email or a meeting where you're meeting with your boss and the boss is about to tell you what he or she wants you to do. And so the one that we're going to work on in this particular case then is going to be a pilot paper question. It's a nice straightforward one in terms of finding the requirements at least. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll just take a quick look at this here. So we've got an email again from Mr. Harris, our boss. 24th of May, costing. Let's read the scenario here. So thank you very much for your costing schedule that you sent me. I have to admit I know very little about ABC and the basis of your calculations. Okay, so the costing schedule is something that was sent previously, a calculation you did previously. That's not something you've done in this exam. Remember, there's no calculations. That would have been something that you had sent on a previous occasion. And actually, we'll see those in a moment. It's one of the pieces of reference material. We're not focusing on that now because we want to just focus on the point which is the actual requirement itself, okay, which is in this email. So, although I'm surprised to see how different costs are of a bag are, that's the cost of a bag of the... Remember this scenario, it's our classic pilot paper scenario, and it's animal feed, so it's bags of animal feed. And the costs of the different bags of animal feed are different depending on the different type of feed that's used. Of course, it depends on the labour costs and the ingredients and so on. We'll see that in just a moment when we look at the costing schedule. It would be very useful for me and also for Mr. Webb, the production manager, if you could prepare us a report which covers the following. Okay, so this one is telling us exactly what the report's going to be in there. We can see there's 4 bullet points, there's 4 different requirements. Let's have a look at those requirements then. So firstly, some detail regarding how an activity-based costing system differs from a traditional absorption costing system. Okay, that's nice and clear then. Very focused, very clear requirement, very little doubt what's required. It's very theoretical. Hopefully you've learnt about activity-based costing and you've learnt about absorption costing, and you know the differences between the two. That should be relatively straightforward. Next we go on to the advantages and disadvantages to our business of using ABC. This is therefore more applied. It's focusing on activity-based costing and its advantages and disadvantages, but focused on those, not just the theoretical ones you've learnt, although of course you'll bring those in, but also how they apply to the feed business, the animal feed business. Then we go on to the implications of using ABC on our costing information. So we're going to be able to have a look then at the costing information provided, because we get given some information on the absorption costing and the activity-based costing comparison. So we'll be able to look at that and apply that. And the likely difficulties we might encounter switching to activity-based costing. So again, part of that is applying to this company, but part is just the general difficulties in using activity-based costing. A mix of theory and a mix of practical points in there. Okay. So we've identified those requirements, and you don't highlight everything at this stage. Just focus on what the key points are. Okay, just the key requirements. And what we're going to do is, in fact, what I would be doing if I was doing this is, as I found a requirement, I would be starting to create my plan based around that requirement and, in a sense, starting to get on to part 2. So we're going to create our structure based on those key requirements. Plan directly into your answer sheet on the computer. The reason to do this is that then the points that you raise in your plan can actually then start to become the headings in your answer. In fact, you might even start to write out some of the key points in your plan. So some of your text actually could be on your plan as well, depending on how much detail you do in your plan. Normally, by the way, I say keep the amount of detail on your plan down to a minimum. And I still keep with that, but should you spend a little bit longer planning and write a little bit more on your plan, of course, that will mean if you've already done your answer into your answer sheet on the computer, you can just simply expand that out. So it's not wasted time. It used to be wasted time in the old exams when they were paper-based, because the plan wouldn't be part of your answer. But this is one of the advantages of the computer-based system. We're not going to be wasting planning time. And I'll stop the video just there. So that gives you the full details of the first step in my planning process and a little bit of guidance on top on where you should do your plan. The video goes on to guide you through the remaining 7 stages from 2 through to 8 to show you all the key points you should pick out. I also encourage people then to go away and do lots of practice of planning so you can speed up your planning and really perfect the planning process. The examiner has specifically stated that people that plan get better answers, and to be honest with you, that's not just the operational case study examiner, it's the MCS and the SCS examiners as well. It's a common theme, is that where there's a plan, there's a structure, there's focus to the answer. It doesn't go waffling off down a tangent. It always answers a specific requirement. So it's really key that you learn how to plan and that you do that as part of your answer. So of course this is just one small part of our tuition video series, which in itself is one small part of our course. You can buy the tuition videos separately, or you can buy the whole course, which has got live masterclasses on it, mock exams, very detailed guidance on each case study as the case study comes out. We've got an ethics pack, and there's a load of other resources, chance to ask questions to your tutor, online forums and so on. So loads of stuff on our course which is all focused on helping you to get through this exam. Whichever way you decide to proceed, I do wish you the best of luck as you go through your preparation, and even more luck on exam day itself.